Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallava Girivaradari. Gopi Jana Vallava Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha Baladeva Jaya Subhadramayi. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Haribo, Haribo. जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिराजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिराजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती प्रभुपाद श्रीला प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रीला हरिदास ठाकुर की। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासद गौर भक्त वृंद की। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिर गोवर्धन की। वृंदावन धाम की, मथुरा धाम की, पुरुषोत्तम धाम जगन्नाथपुर की, मथुरा द्वारका धाम की, गंगा माई की, यमुना माई की, तुलसी महारानी की, भक्ति देवी की, ट्रांसेंडेंटल श्रीला प्रभुपाद ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की, पतित पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। We are discussing Canto 2 and Chapter 10. Today we are beginning Chapter 10. We completed Chapter 9 and we are beginning Chapter 10 today. The Chapter 10 entitled Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. You can repeat after me. Shri Sukavacha Atra Sargo Visargascha Sthanam Poshanam Utayaha Manvantare Sanukataha Sorry. Manvantare Sanukata Nirodho Muktirashrayaha Shri Sukavacha Atra Sargo Visargascha Sthanam Poshanam Utayaha Manvantare Sanukata Nirodho Muktirashrayaha Shri Sukavacha Atra Sargo Visargascha Sthanam Poshanam Utayaha Manvantare Sanukata Nirodho Muktirashrayaha. Anybody want to repeat? Shri Sukavacha Atra Sargo Visargasya Sthanam Poshanam Utayaha Manvantare Sanukata Nirodho Muktirashrayaha. Anybody wants to repeat? Sri Sukavacha Sargo Visargasya Anam Poshanam Utayaha Tare Sanukata Nirodho Muktirashrayaha. Anybody? No? Shri Sukavacha Atra Sargo Visargasya Sthanam Poshanam Utayaha Manvantare Sanukata Nirodho Muktirashrayaha. Mataji, anybody wants to repeat? Shri Sukavacha Atra Sargo Visargasya Sthanam Poshanam Utayaha Manvantare Sanukata Nirodho Muktirashrayaha. Word to word meaning. Shri Sukavacha, Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, Atra, in this Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Sargaha, statement of the creation of the universe, Visarga, statement of sub-creation, Cha, also, Sthanam, the planetary systems, Poshanam, protection, Utayaha, the creative impetus, Manvantara, changes of Manu, Ishanukataha, the signs of God, Nirodha, going back home, back to Godhead, Muktihi, liberation, Ashrayaha, the Samam Bonam. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, In the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, there are 10 divisions of statements regarding the following: the creation of the universe, subcreation, planetary systems, protection by the Lord, the creative impetus, the change of Manus, the signs of God, returning home back to Godhead, liberation, and the Samam Bonam. And we will discuss next 2 verses also. We'll cover in this section that first 3 verses. Dasamasya vishuddhyatam navanam yehalakshanam varnayati mahatmanaha shrutena tena chanjasa. Translation: To isolate the transcendence of the samam bonam, the symptoms of the rest are described, sometimes by Vedic inferences, sometimes by direct explanation, and sometimes by summary explanations given by the great sages. Bhuta matrendriyadiyam janma sarga udahritah brahmano guna vaishmayad visargaha purushaha smaratah. Translation: The elementary creation of 16 items of matter, namely the 5 elements, fire, water, land, air, and sky, sound, form, taste, smell, touch, and the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, and mind, is known as a sarga, whereas subsequent resultant interaction of the modes of material nature is called visarga. In order to explain the 10 divisional symptoms of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, there are 7 continuous verses. The first of these under reference pertains to the 16 elementary manifestation of earth, water, etc., with material ego composed by material intelligence and mind. The subsequent creation is a result of the reaction of the above mentioned 16 energies of the first Purusha, the Mahavishnu incarnation of Govinda, as later explained by Brahma in his treatise Brahma Samhita as follows: Yakaranadnava jale bhajati sma yoga nidram ananta jagadanda saroma kupaha adara shaktim avalambya param sva mutim Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. The first Purusha incarnation of Govinda, Lord Krishna, known as the Mahavishnu, goes into Yoga Nidra, mystic sleep, and innumerable universes are situated in potency in each and every hair hole of his transcendental body. As mentioned in the previous verse, Srutena, or with reference to Vedic conclusions, the creation is made possible from the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly by manifestation of his particular energies. Without such a Vedic reference, the creation appears to be a product of material nature. This conclusion comes from a poor funda of knowledge. From Vedic reference, it is concluded that the origin of all energies, namely internal, external, and marginal, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And as explained herein before, the illusory conclusion is that creation is made by the inert material nature. The Vedic conclusion is transcendental light, whereas the non-Vedic conclusion is material darkness. The internal potency of the Supreme Lord is identical with the Supreme Lord, and the external potency is enlivened in contact with the internal potency. The parts and parcels of the internal potency which react in contact with the external potency are called the marginal potency or the living entities. Thus, the original creation is directly from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or Param Brahman, and the secondary creation as reactionary results of original ingredients is made by Brahma. Thus, the activities of the whole universe are started. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirete Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. With all your blessings, there are so many Vaishnavas here and they are much more elevated than me, and I am taking your blessings and starting this class, and definitely I don't have any qualification to sit on this Vyasasana, and I am taking this an opportunity to serve all of you. That is only my intention, nothing more than that, and please bless me. And starting this chapter, I'll give some context of this chapter. This chapter begins or marks as a beginning of a significant philosophical section in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Significant philosophical section in Bhagavatam, where Sukadeva Goswami outlined 10 fundamental topics. 10 fundamental topics which are there throughout the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. If you take any canto, and one of the 10 topics will be discussed. And Jiva Goswami says that these 10 topics in all the 12 cantos, some degree it is discussed. Some cantos, some of the aspect is discussed more elaborately and vividly, and some chapters probably less priorities or giving less priority to some of the other aspects of these 10 fundamental aspects. And this chapter introduces us, in fact this chapter introduces us a structured way of theistic cosmology, a structured theistic cosmology, and it prepares everyone, it prepares us to hear the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam in a way that all the aspects of creation and dissolution and liberation, which are all connected to Krishna, the Lord. And this this topic also talks about philosophical and devotional aspects of Lord very elaborately, if you can see in every canto. And ultimately all these 10 aspects of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam culminates in the last aspect of 10 aspects, that is Ashraya. And if you read all the aspects, in short while we will discuss what are the 10 fundamental aspects of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And the last one is Ashraya, and we will learn all 9 aspects to surrender to Krishna and take 100% surrender unto Krishna. That is what these 9 aspects will help us to progress in devotion. And this verse also a gateway, this verse also serves as a gateway to understand deeper aspects of various pastimes of the Lord and various aspects of creation, purpose of creation, and the journey of a soul going back to Godhead. And these are the topics described in rest of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. That is a small context of this particular chapter, and today we are discussing the first 3 verses. And what Prabhupada was saying, if you see that there are much purpose were given for the first two verses. The first verse, the Sukadeva Goswami is saying that in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam there are 10 divisions of statements regarding the following: the creation of universe. In Sanskrit, the creation of the universe described as a sarga. What it is? Sarga. Sarga means, sarga refers to the creation, the primary creation of the universe, and which is executed by Mahavishnu. Which is executed by Mahavishnu. At this stage, the Lord creates various elements, the fundamental elements, so that the universe can further expanded. The elements like Panchabhuta, Shri Shri Nitai Gaura Chandra ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Madhav ki Jai, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadramai ki Jai. The fundamental elements that are raw materials, raw ingredients that were created by Lord Vishnu. At what stage? At the Sarga stage. What are those elements? Earth, water, fire, air, and ether. And these are the gross elements. And the subtle elements like mind, intelligence, and false ego. And other things like 3 modes of material nature. Mode of passion, mode of ignorance, and mode of goodness. These are the things at the stage of Sarga, Lord Vishnu has created. And he has created and gave to whom? Brahma. Okay? He has given to Lord Brahma. These are the foundation for material existence. We can understand with this that this creation is not a random event. This creation, entire creation is not a random event. So many people says that Earth was created out of sun. Many years back, there is some part is separated from sun planet, and after many thousands and thousands of years, that the part becomes like a Earth. But it is not that, and it is clearly given that this was created by Lord at the stage of Sarga. And he carefully created. Okay, he has a plan, and it is not like Earth was created out of nothing. No, Earth is created by a person, and that person is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We always have to have the conception that for behind every creation there is a person, and that person is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we also can understand that this entire creation has come from the Lord's energy, right? We can clearly understand that this entire material world originates from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it is not by chance. It is not by chance or impersonal laws. Sometimes there are some impersonal people, they say that this entire creation it just happened out of some events, and nobody was there behind these events. But Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is clearly outlined that we have a person behind every activity. So this is the personalism. Srimad-Bhāgavatam touches more on the personalism rather on impersonalism. And the second one is Visarga. Visarga refers to the second creation. Visarga refers to second creation, which is carried out by the Lord Brahma, who is the first person of this universe and who was empowered by Lord. And he was given by all the ingredients by Lord Vishnu at the stage of Sarga, saying that these are all I am giving to you, and here everything I gave it to you, and I also gave that intelligence how you have to create entire this universe. And what Brahma does, Brahma creates various living beings. We know that we have 84 lakhs of species in this material world, and there are many groups, like some of them are reptiles, some of them are aquatics, some of them are animals, and some are human beings. Like there are 84 lakhs of species, and Brahma start creating all those species in this material world based on their karma and their desires, right? They have a desires, and they also have done some previous karma, and based on their previous karma, he will tally when he creates every living being, and he sees that what kind of karma he is carrying from his previous birth to the current birth, and accordingly he will award or give a body. And also he uses all the ingredients which were given by Lord Vishnu at this stage, at Visarga stage, and under the divine direction. What is his inspiration? His inspiration is to he gets inspiration from the Lord Vishnu, because at the initial stage when this universe is created, he was completely bewildered, that we all discussed, right, at the beginning of this canto, that, and the Lord inspired him to do some kind of a tapasya, and after doing tapasya, he understood what kind of things that he has to carry, and that's how this he started creating various living beings. And he is not a independent. He is not a independent. Although he is a creator, he is not independent. He is very much dependent on Lord and Lord's power. And we can understand that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of all the causes. Even the cause of Brahma is also a Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he is the first living being in this universe. And from him, everything has incarnated, or everything has come. So we can understand that this entire universe is caused by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the next stage is sthana. And sthana is the maintenance of the universe, maintenance of the universe. At this stage, sthana includes all the living beings, and the living beings and their proper position within this universe. Their proper position within this universe. When they are created, they have to be created in a way that they, whatever their karma is carrying with them, and based on that they will be awarded a particular position within this universe. That will be taken care by sthana, and the presiding deity for sthana is the Lord Vishnu, who is responsible for sustaining the entire cosmic manifestation. The Lord Vishnu is the presiding deity for sthana, the maintenance. We know that there are Gunavataras, right? So one of the Gunavatara is Lord Vishnu. He represents maintenance of this universe, and that Vishnu is a representative of the sthana aspect of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And what he does, he provides all the things that required for all the living beings to sustain in this world. He provides all the things which are required for all the living beings to sustain in this material world. And he also takes care of all the universal affairs also. There are many planets in the universe, and they have to be in a certain position, and they should revolve around the sun and everything. There are many calculations, right? If you read that the sun planetary system, you can understand that there are many planets revolve around the sun, and they all have to be in a certain position so that they will not get collusion with each other, and that's how he maintains entire universal affairs. And we can understand that maintenance is not just a physical activity. Sthana is not a physical activity, but it includes protection, Lord's protection, and spiritual well-being. He also ensures that we will get protection from various things. At the same time, he also emphasizes the he also emphasized the spiritual well-being of every living being are there in this material world. Sorry. This particular aspect emphasizes the Lord's role of creator and maintainer, right? And creator or even caretaker. This particular aspect of Lord is emphasizes that Lord is a creator and sustainer and caretaker of every living being in this material world. And the next aspect is Poshana. What is the Poshana means? Poshana means a special protection. Special protection or nourishment. So, Poshana means a special care, protection and mercy that Lord gives to his devotees particularly. And if you see that in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, in so many places and so many pastimes, Lord has protected his devotees personally, right? And if you take that Prahlad Maharaj was saved many times from his father, demonic father, Hiranyakashipu, and by Lord Narasimha, right? And even Draupadi was saved, right? When she was disrobed by Kauravas, and Krishna has saved her by giving unlimited sari protection. Like that, there are many places Lord protected his devotees, and the principle is, we can understand that this particular Poshana is not depend on the karma that we are carrying from our previous life. This is important aspect, that in the Poshana particularly, Lord's protection is not necessarily based on our karma. It is purely Lord's grace upon the soul surrender unto him. It doesn't depend on whether we have done pious activities or the devotion in our previous life. Lord will take personal interest and comes in a devotee's life and reveals his loving nature to his devotees. That's what the Poshana special qualification. Okay, and the fifth aspect is Uti. Uti means creative impulse or inclinations of living entities. There are many inclinations in every living being. Otherwise, you can say there are many tendencies in us, many desires in us. And when I say that desires, one time the death of God asks Yudhishthira Maharaj, what is the more numerous than the grass of the grass of what do you say that strass? Blade of grass. What is the more numerous than the blade of grasses? Then Yudhishthira Maharaj answers that the desires which living beings have, the more desires. If you find there are many grasses, if you find on the earthly planet there are many grass straws on the earth planet. If you find more than those are the material desires of living beings. That's how Yudhishthira Maharaj answered to God of death. So here it is saying that we all have desires, and the desires are driven by our personal attachments and personal and three modes of material nature. Our all desires, and in other way we can say that we are in this material world, we are constantly performing so many actions, right? And which are driven by our personal desires, attachment and three modes of material nature. That these all will arise from where? These all desires will arise from our free will, and every living being has some free will, and out of that free will, our desires will arise. And these desires will be influenced by what? We discussed in previous chapters. These all desires are influenced by what? We are not the doers. Who is the doer? In the previous chapters, it was elaborately discussed. We are not the doers. There are three doers, right? We discussed. One is we as Atma, and Atma has some free will. Out of that free will, we desire something. And out of that desires will be detected by whom? Paramatma. And Paramatma detects our free will, and immediately Paramatma will enable the three modes of material nature, right? That's how, these are the three doers topic that we discussed. And once the desires are arised out of our free will, and those will be influenced by three modes of material nature. As a consequence, what will happen? These actions will create reactions. These actions will create reactions. And these reactions, either it is a good activity or a bad activity, it has certain reaction out of that activity. And that result will bind us in this material world. And that's how we will bind in this material world, cycle of birth and death. So basically these desires lead to karma, right? And even that, as a consequence, we have to take birth again and again in the future. So, and based on our actions, that whatever we perform, pious activities, based on our pious activities, we will be awarded a good birth. And otherwise we will be taking a lower species births. And that's how we will roam in this entire material world forever. Unless we come to a guidance of a Vaishnava. And we all are so fortunate, or somehow or other, we have come in contact with the Krishna consciousness. And I'm sure every one of us who are practicing devotion must have one person in their life who introduced us to the Krishna consciousness, right? So we should be very grateful to that person always, and because Krishna has arranged that person in our life so that we could come into Krishna consciousness and we could understand the real position of the living being and why we are suffering and what is our real position, where we have to go back, and all these aspects and I think we would have come to know because of that one person who introduced to Krishna consciousness. Probably it's not all, but at least that is the trigger for every one of us, right? That triggers to come into Krishna consciousness, and from there we have heard from different Vaishnavas, and we could relate various aspects of our life, and we can lead our life in a way that we could go back to Godhead. So this is the function of Uti, and Uti also let us know that Jiva's responsibility of its choices. We have taken various choices, right? And based on the choices, we have taken this kind of body, and that Uti lets know that. And but it is also bound by illusion. Unless we come to a guidance of Vaishnava, we will not be able to come out of that circle, you can say. So we always have to have a person in our life who can guide us in this material world towards spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan. And the next one is the sixth aspect of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is Manvantara. The five is Sarga, Visarga, and Sana, Poshana, and fifth aspect is Uti, right? You remember, right? You just have some idea. So these aspects are elaborately described in various chapters, and we will understand when you read some of the chapters, you can easily correlate which aspect of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is prominently described in this on that particular chapter or canto. And the sixth aspect is a manvantara. A manvantara is a period of what do you say that Manu, period of period ruled by a Manu. One Manu rule. The 14 Manus are there in one day of Brahma, right? That is understanding. 14 Manus are in one day of Brahma. And who is the Manu? Manu is a person who gives the laws, how to lead in this material world. Also, what they do, they will also emphasizes, Manus also emphasizes the administrative potency of Lord, and they will continue the dharma of the society or dharma of the universe through the vast cycle of time, right? We are living in many years in this material world, and there are many people will come and go, and if we understand this, we have 4 yugas, right? The Satyuga, Treta Yuga, and Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga, and these 4 yugas are called Chatur Yuga or Divya Yuga, and 1,000 such cycles are one day of Brahma. And if you calculate the 14 Manus, around 71 or 72 Manus will have in one day of Chatur Yugas, right? That's how the Lord arranges Manus in this material world, so that they will give a direction for every living entity, so that they will practice their life in a devotional service and make their life perfect and go back to spiritual world. And they also establishes, like I told you, religious principles, and they also guide us on certain things, that how one can lead their life to perfect their life. These are the aspects of Manvantara, and the next one is Ishanu Katha. What is that? The 7th aspect is Ishanu Katha. What is the Ishanu Katha means? Ishanu means what? Lord's pastimes. Lord's Ishanu means, Ishanu Katha means Lord's pastimes and incarnations. So Ishanu Katha refers Lord's sweet pastimes and his incarnations. And some of the incarnation, Lord Rama, Lord Varaha, Lord Narsimha, and especially Lord Krishna. And when Lord Krishna has performed his pastimes, they are very much relatable and very transformative to the living beings. And when we hear Krishna's pastimes, what will happen when we hear those pastimes from a pure devotee? Those will purify our heart and mind. Those will purify our mind and heart. And when we keep hearing those pastimes, as a consequence, we will also realize that bhakti will arises from our heart. Love for Krishna will arise, and till that time, probably we may do in a mechanical way. But when you are hearing again and again, and as a consequence, our heart is completely purified. And when it is purified, that in that stage, that that spontaneous love will awaken from our heart. It is no more as a mechanical way of a devotion, but it is out of pure love. And that's how we will become close and closer to Krishna. And Ishanukada also enables this. Ishanukada is most elaborately described in 10th canto, right? If you read 10th canto, it is full of Krishna's pastimes, and they're more relatable. And and when we read, we can understand. There are many, many devotees. They expressed their life experiences when they are reading the 10th canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. When they are reading, there are many realizations they will get, and through those realizations, their heart is get purified. So, if you can hear and read Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 10th canto, that's the reason. That is one of the reason before the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is published, the first canto or other cantos. What Srila Prabhupada has done, that he has given entire Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 10th canto in the form of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it is very easy to understand, right? It is full of stories. One can easily read, and they can get the essence of what is mentioned in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 10th canto. It is a summary, right? If you read the Krishna book. And in fact, many times, many Vaishnavas are recommended to read the Krishna book when they are doing any, especially Matajis when they conceive, so that they will absorb in Krishna pastimes. By hearing Krishna pastimes, and it is evident that when we are in constant in touch with any of the thing, and we also get adapted some of those qualities. We all can easily correlate or understand that when you are association of some non-devotees or friends, and what will happen, we will keep grabbing or keep observing those persons' qualities, and we also imbibe, and without our notice those qualities will come, and we will also act as they are acting. Sometimes it happens, right? That is the reason it is very important that we always have to have in a good association, and especially devotees association. And it is very important to understand that the valuable thing in this material world, if it is there, that is the Vaishnava association. And if something lost in our life, if any valuable thing that lost in our life is, that is a Vaishnava's association. Both, if we have any valuable thing in our life, that is Vaishnava's association, and if we lost valuable thing in our life, that is also Vaishnava's association. That is the reason we always should ask Krishna or pray to Krishna to make us be available or be in the association of Vaishnavas. And the next aspect of the 10 aspect of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is Nirodha. Nirodha means annihilation. There are two kinds of annihilations in this material world. What are those? When it happens? One annihilation will take place when Lord Brahma's night time, when Lord Brahma completes his daytime, and when he enters into night, and that time there is a partial winding of this entire creation. And the second one is the full annihilation. When it will happen? It happens at the time of 100 years of the Lord Brahma. So, and this annihilation will come from whom? The Lord's will. By Lord's will only the annihilation and the creation will take place. All material elements are withdrawn at the time of annihilation, and withdrawn, and where they will be rest in the unmanifested state on Mahavishnu, right? If we understand this entire creation, and if we go a little bit back, and I think we discussed many aspects, how the creation comes into light, that we have various incarnations, right? If you talk about Krishna's incarnation, there are mainly 6 incarnations, 6 avatars. One of them is, Purusha avatars. And other avatars like Leela avatars, Guna avatars, and Shakta avatar, Shakta Avesha avatars, and other things. And especially Purusha avatars, and Lord explains himself as a Mahavishnu, Karanadaka Sai Vishnu. And he himself explains as a Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, and he enters into the every universe which comes from the body of Mahavishnu or Karanadaka Sai Vishnu. Again, the Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu again expands as a Shirodaka Sai Vishnu, and he enters into every living being. Right? This we all know that this is how the entire creation will take place. And when it happens, all the elements which comes from the Mahavishnu, and when the annihilation takes place, all these material elements will withdrawn back, and where they will rest on? They will rest on the Mahavishnu's body. We are doing so many things. You may think that when annihilation takes place, there are so many living beings still existing in this world, right? What will happen to those living beings? Those living beings also will go and stay in the body of Mahavishnu. And again, when Mahavishnu exhales, again there are many universes will be created. Ananta Koti Brahmanda. And again the same Mahavishnu will expand, and again the all living beings which are rest on the Mahavishnu will again take birth in various planets according to their desires and karma. That's how the creation happens. And what we can understand with this, with the aspect of Nirodha is the annihilation. And if you understand that this happens in every cycle, after some time Nirodha definitely will take place. So, and we can understand everything in this material is temporary. That is the aspect we should understand from this Nirodha. And everything will be diminished. Okay? Everything will be diminished, and we should understand these are all material elements are temporary. They will stay for some time, and they will annihilated by Lord's energy. And what we can learn also is detachment from temporary things. When you understand these are all temporary and they will stay for some time, and we can easily detach from those things, right? In our life, there are certain things in our life, and if we understand those things will stay for sometimes very small time in our life, do you develop attachment for those things? No, right? And we already knew that those things will have a certain time in our life, and we immediately detach from those things. So, and where we have to concentrate on the eternal things like soul and the soul's relation with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. These are the eternal things we always focus on, rather than focusing on the temporary things. That's what that aspect is elaborately or vividly described in the Nirodha. Wherever aspect of Nirodha you read in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, it emphasizes that material world is a temporary, ashashvatam, right? Ashashvatam, and we also have to concentrate on the things which are permanent. So, and the second, the next aspect of 10 aspects of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is mukti, liberation. Mukti is a freedom from bondage of material world and false ego. Isn't it? Mukti is freedom from material bondage or bondage of material aspects and false ego. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam rejects impersonal liberation. If you read Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, it is emphasizes and rejects on the impersonal liberation, that is merging into Brahman. So rather it promotes personal liberation. That means getting the original identity. Getting the original identity, and we all have the original identity in spiritual world, and you can say that is Siddha Deha. Every individual living being has a Siddha Deha in the spiritual world, and one should aim for it. And Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is aiming everyone to focus on gaining their Siddha Dehas, rather merging into Brahman. It does not encourage that aspect. Also, it also recommends every living being into enter into the loving service of the Lord in Vaikuntha or Goloka. So it does not encourage impersonal Brahman, rather it encourages enter into the loving service of Vaikuntha or Goloka. So these are the aspects which are described in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and this is the real aim of getting a liberation, right? It's not if you have, there are many people, they have a different ideas that the Brahma-Jyoti is the ultimate, and everything will merge into Brahma-Jyoti. But this aspect is particularly in anywhere in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, rejects that and encourages everyone to the personal relation with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we all have to aim for that and go back to the spiritual world through the practice of devotional service. And the last aspect is ashraya. That is, ashraya is ultimate shelter. Ultimate shelter is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I will discuss a few things on this ashraya. Ashraya is very, very important. So whatever the aspects that we learned in above, 9 aspects, which all recommends us to take the ashraya of Krishna. So ashraya is very, very important, and how we can take ashraya. What is the ashraya means? Taking shelter, isn't it? Taking shelter. What is the taking shelter means? Taking shelter means trusting that Krishna's protection is real. Krishna's protection is real and ultimate. We may not see it immediately, but ultimately Krishna will give the protection. That is what the taking shelter means. Taking shelter means giving up our false ego, giving up our false pride, giving up our false mentality that we are the controllers. This is the real. This is what the taking shelter means, and relying on the Lord's will in all the situations. Relying on the Lord's will in all the situations, and praying Krishna and acting with a confidence that Krishna is the protector, and Krishna knows the best for me. Krishna knows everything, and Krishna does best for me. This is what taking shelter means. And taking shelter means hearing the scriptures and hearing from the Vaishnavas, and practicing and conducting our life accordingly. And like a servant, and knowing what is our real position and acting in that understanding is taking shelter. And taking shelter means in many times we go through many anxieties, many distressful situations, and many fearful situations, isn't it? So in all the situations, if we can turn our direction towards Krishna as a child turns towards his father, that is a real taking shelter. That is a real ashraya. These all will come when we are thoroughly situated in the 9 aspects of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And in Bhagavad Gita, so in Bhagavad Gita, there are many systematic way of things are described, how one can take the shelter of Krishna. And if you read the Bhagavad Gita 2nd chapter, 2.7, Arjuna was completely bewildered and he does not know what to do. And immediately he has taken Krishna as a shelter. And he said that I am confused, bewildered, and please instruct me. And then Krishna has taken lead, and he started guiding to Arjuna. And if you take 7th chapter, and Krishna is saying that this entire world is created by my energy, divine energy, which is consist of 3 modes of material nature, and which is very difficult to overcome. And unless soul surrender to Krishna, it is not easy to bypass or easy to overcome this material existence. So this is a progressive surrenderance or a progressive taking shelter. Initially, we also sometimes we want out of our obligation, some people may invite us to come to a temple, and that is a preliminary faith in us, and we will come. And sometimes we may have some kind of confusions. Let me go to some Vaishnava and get clarified. And that is a preliminary faith in every living being, and that is when a living being comes into contact with a Vaishnava. From there, that fire will be ignited, and that fire will burn more and more and more, and finally that burns all the material existence in every living being, isn't it? It happens like that. If you take any of the pure devotee, this is how the journey will takes place in every devotee of the Krishna. And the last aspect in Bhagavad Gita, that Krishna is emphasizing that sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam raja aham tvam sarva papepyo moksheshami masucha. Don't worry, you just give up all your religious practice and just surrender unto me. What will happen? So all your reactions, whatever so far you have done, so many karmic reactions, those all will be burnt off. Even if you read the Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, if you are really situated in knowledge, with that knowledge, all your karmic reactions will be burnt away. But situating in real knowledge means situating in Krishna consciousness. Situating in Krishna consciousness. If we comes in Krishna consciousness, and we need not to put so many efforts to take away all our material desires, rather develop desires for serving Lord Krishna and his devotees. Those will slowly take away all our material desires. These spiritual desires will occupy and replace all your material desires with spiritual desires. And I often says that the Krishna consciousness is a journey from material desires to spiritual desires. So this is how we can progress from material aspects to spiritual aspects. Hare Krishna. I will stop here. So if you have any questions or corrections, please correct me. It is completely a philosophy. We have to focus much on that. We don't have examples to bring you or bring your mind into these topics. But when you discuss each topic, then probably we have so many metaphors that we can correlate. But these are, high-level fundamental topics and philosophical aspects. And it may be boring to all of you, but what can I do? So this is what I have to explain. Hare Krishna. If you don't have any questions, I will conclude. Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
His Grace Siddha Deha Prabhu ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.